Aloha folks, good afternoon. Safari Helicopter flight on the 24th of May at 2:30. It's going to be an eco flight today. So we've got Sophia and Henry. We've got Lori and John and Joseph and Andrea. Welcome aboard everybody. Aloha. Sophia, you got a microphone. Push that button, hold it close to your mouth. You're talking to everybody. Welcome.
Hello.
Where are you guys from?
Florida.
What part?
The Tampa Bay area.
My aunt used to live in St. Pete. I used to live in Jacksonville.
Okay. That's cool. I went to school at University of South Carolina, so.
Oh, okay. Nice. Hey, Lori, you've got a microphone here. Everybody in the back is going to show that at any time you want to talk, grab it, push the button, hold it close to your mouth. Welcome. Where are you guys from?
Florida.
Oh, what part?
Central Florida area, Orlando
area. Okay. Well, I tell you, every time I had family come and visit me in Jacksonville, man, I'd have to go down there to the Disney World, the Universal Studios, and the Kennedy Space Center. Oh, my gosh. That's a microphone you guys are sharing. Squeeze that button, hold it close to your mouth. Welcome to you.
Hey, what's up?
This guy.
What's your name?
What do you want it to be? Just kidding. As soon as we get everybody on board, it saves me having to do it over and over again. So, just a second. Hi there, John. So there's a microphone. Oh, she's got it. Anytime you guys want to talk, you grab hold of that, squeeze the button, hold it close to your mouth. You're talking to everybody with that. I was just telling her I used to live a little north of you guys. I used to live up in Jacksonville. I was stationed up there for a while. So. And let's see. Do you have a strap on this camera or anything? No? Okay, good. Then it's not in the way. Perfect. Now you don't need it. I just want to make sure it wasn't all in your seatbelt and you're all trying to, you know what I mean? It's not a doors off helicopter, so we don't need that. There's no that microphone there, ma'am. Thank you. Hey there, Joe. Got a microphone back here. Push that button, hold it close to your mouth. You're talking to everybody. See a California shirt there. You from California?
California it is.
What part?
Monterey Bay.
Monterey Bay, man. Beautiful place. I tried to get stationed there. It was before I joined the Army, unfortunately, because they had the Presidio out there and they had an air station, Army airfield out there. Man, beautiful place.
Yeah, Florida's closed now.
Yeah.
We're going to the Naval Postgraduate School if you want to go to Special Forces.
I'm good, man. I did my first 10 years enlisted in the Navy, then I crossed over into the Army, but I flew gunship, so I'm good. We got Miss Andrea back there, so he's got your microphone. You guys are all sharing that, but anytime you want to talk, you just grab hold of that, squeeze the button, hold it close to your mouth. You're talking to everybody. Welcome to you. So they got an In-N-Out burger up in Monterey yet?
Yeah, they finally actually did.
Oh, man, if that family ever franchises, I'll second mortgage my home and put one out here. Golly. Anyways, I digress, sorry. When you're not using it, the microphone go right there, and that way everybody can use it. So guys, good afternoon. This is your flight. Those microphones are there for you guys to use. Feel free to ask me anything, anytime throughout the flight. Be more than happy to give you an answer. So my name is Paka. I was born and raised right here on Kauai. I left when I was 17 for the military, and I served in 2 branches of the service. I started in the Navy, I finished in the Army. Army is what taught me how to fly helicopters, so here I am back at home. Here we're going to share some beautiful sights with you guys today. So guys, up front, you got these vents. They're currently pretty closed, but you can open them by sticking your finger in there. You can also move them around. Guys, in the back seat, you got some vents over the top of your head here for your adjustment comfort. Now, once we take off and throughout the flight, I am going to try and keep the aircraft rather cool. I found that minimizes the upset stomachs, because we're going to make a whole lot of turns, because I want to give everyone a great opportunity to see this island from both sides. But if anybody does start to feel a little uncomfortable, that's okay. Just start by keeping your eyes on the horizon. Don't close your eyes. Don't put your head down. Don't put your head back. But if it gets to the point where it's a little too bad, in the back seat, guys, see those light blue pouches? There's some white plastic bags in them. Yeah, you guys don't get any up front there. No, I'm just kidding. They're right in the middle between the two of you guys right there in the seat pocket. So we call these aloha bags. If you start to feel a little special, well, feel free to say aloha right into the bag. All right, last but not least, before we take off, I got to go over some emergency equipment. Henry, on the other side of your right leg, see that little orange handle there? In the event of an emergency, or if I shake it out, I want you to simply unsnap that plastic cover, lift that orange handle straight up. That $60,000 door is going to hit the ground. And I have one just like it on my left side here. And for you ladies in the back seat, you got the doorknob right by your leg there. If I shake it out, you simply rotate those handles downwards. These doors are going to open outwards just like an automobile. We have a first aid kit located underneath the back seat. We got a fire extinguisher up front here, and we're all wearing those fashionable yellow life preservers around our waist. And if I don't have any questions about the usage on that or anything else I went over, you guys ready to go? Yeah? Let's go do this, guys.
So what part do we stop at? What part do we stop at? We land, right? What part do we land at? We land at some point, right?
Oh, we are? Nobody told me.
What part is that? Is that the end? Is that the middle?
No, right in the middle. So hold on, let me, I gotta wait for tower, hold on. Alright guys, here we go. Alright guys, we do have to be clear of the airport environment. Before I start the in-flight narration, it won't be too long though, just about a minute at the water line there. I have to listen to the air traffic controllers while we're in the airport environment. Alright guys, starting on the right side, we have a little beach down there called Kalapaki Beach. Got a few surfers on the water. That's a great spot to do some stand-up paddleboarding or try your hand at some surfing. Then we have now Willy Harbor there. We've got the Pride of America cruise ship in today. So it travels around the Hawaiian Islands and stops here every Thursday, leaves on Friday. So that song that was playing in the background, some of you might remember it from the movie Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Well, the reason why it's playing in this particular spot here, well, there's a river just off on the right side here. It's called the Hawaiian River. Well, the getaway scene where he jumps into the seaplane and takes off on the water, well, that's where that was filmed. That river was also seen in theaters last summer, and a movie starring Goldie Hawn and Amy Schumer was called Snatched. And we have the large pond just to the right of the river called the Ali Coco Fish Pond, or more commonly known as the Menehune Fish Pond. And speaking of Hollywood movies, so Disney just began filming a trilogy here on the island. Now its tentative name is going to be Jungle Cruise. But it does star Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and he has been spotted here on the island. So during your stay here, just keep your eyes peeled. You never know, you might see him out in town somewhere. So there's a ridge line just on the left side. Keep on following the ridge line so it takes a little dip. At the base of that dip down there, you see a little dirt road. In the movie Descendants, that's where George Clooney and his family stood atop, looking out at the ocean below. Throughout the flight today, as we make our way around the island, we're going to see a bunch of empty fields or pastures, just like we have on either side here. Well, just over 20 years ago, most of that was all sugarcane. It just became too expensive to grow sugarcane here on Kauai and ship it all the way back to Northern California for processing, so we no longer commercially grow any sugarcane here on this island. But speaking of sugarcane, out the left-hand side, this large body of water coming up here, it's called the Waitaha Reservoir. It is man-made and was created to supply irrigation water to the sugarcane fields. As a young kid, though, I grew up fishing for largemouth bass out of this reservoir. That's because you see the little neighborhood to the left of it? Well, that's where I grew up. That's in the town of Koloa. I also learned how to surf at those beaches on our left-hand side. That's in the sunny south side town called Poipu. We got some breezy trade winds blowing today. That's a good thing on the ground because it keeps the humidity in check. But for us in flight today, as we make our way around the island, we are going to experience some bumpiness. But it's nothing at all to be worried about, though. You see, what happens is the wind, well, it likes to parallel the Earth's surface. So when it hits some of these vertical rises, well, it shoots up into the sky. Well, there's that thing called gravity. It brings it back down again. In aviation terms, we call this phenomenon mountain waves, giving us a little bit of that bump. But the sights that I'm going to be showing you guys in some of these areas, they're going to make you forget all about that bumpiness. So on the left-hand side near the shoreline, you see some dark green colored fields start off and they go into the distance there. Well, that's the Kauai coffee plantation with 3,100 acres of coffee being grown here on the island. The Kauai Coffee Company is the largest single coffee producer in the United States. So the first scenic attraction we're going to go visit today is called the Manawaiapuna Waterfall. Manawaiapuna, that means the spiritual springs. But this waterfall is more commonly called the Jurassic Park Waterfall. It was the very first waterfall, or the waterfall that was seen in the very first Jurassic Park movie where they landed the helicopter right at the base of this waterfall. Now it's still just a short bumpy ride upstream. Once we get in closer, I'm going to be making some turns, put it on both sides, giving everyone a great chance to see this beautiful waterfall. And out the right side first is the Jurassic Park waterfall down there. And out the left side, again, the Jurassic Park waterfall. In the making of that movie, they had to build a special wooden platform right at the edge of the water there, just so they could land the helicopter at the base of this waterfall. And before anybody asks, unfortunately, no, you cannot hike back here. That's because this is all on private property, and they allow no hikers to come back in here. So the only way most people get to see this waterfall in person, well, it's by aircraft. So all this land around us is owned by the Robinson family. Now Liza Sinclair, she's the matriarch. She sailed over from New Zealand back in 1863. She came over to Kauai to buy some land to raise cattle on. She ended up buying over 100,000 acres of the land. She also gave King Kamehameha IV $10,000 in gold for the island of Niihau. That lies 17 miles off our western coast, and it's known as the Forbidden Isle. So just off the left front near the shoreline there's a little town. It's got all that red water along the beach there. That's the town of Waimea. That's where I was born. But Waimea does mean red waters. As you can see from all this dirt around us, everything is that rust red color. Well, during a volcanic eruption, it brings up iron ore to the surface. Many centuries later, that then becomes iron oxide, or what's known as rust, staining everything that right there. So this canyon ahead here is called the Olokele Canyon, and believe it or not, all of that belongs to the Robinson family. So our landing spot's just coming up ahead here. Once we land, I have to let the engine cool down for a little bit, and then I'll escort everybody out. I got some refreshments to hand out to you guys. We'll take a walk, I'll do some picture taking, we'll come back to the helicopter, do some more pictures nearby. We got about 30 minutes on the ground here. going to be about a minute or two to let the engine cool down. So if you guys want to unbuckle your seatbelts at this time, you can. I'd leave the headphones on for just a little bit longer to be quieter that way for you. Take a look at that canyon wall ahead of us. You're going to see all those horizontal lines crisscrossing it. Well, those are all individual eruptions over the millions of years that stacked layer upon layer onto the island. I'm going to start at the right side first, and I'll put it out the left side shortly. But coming up on our right-hand side, that waterfall you see there is called Waipo'o Falls. Out the left side. Again, that's Waipo'o Falls. Now, if any of you have the opportunity to drive up here to the Waimea Canyon, this is the waterfall that's seen from many of the scenic overlooks from the rim outside the canyon rim on our right side. Now as we cross the ridge line here, you'll see Highway 550 pass beneath us. Also directly in front of us, 17 miles off the shore, you can just make out the silhouette of the Forbidden Isle of Ni'ihau out there. So there's a little pond just out the right side. It's called the Lua Reservoir. So it is stocked with rainbow trout. They open it up once a year for a couple months for us to come fishing. It's the only place on the island that actually requires a fishing license. And some of the wildlife that can be found up in these parks, you have the wild boar, the black-tailed deer, and along with cliff face, you're going to find some mountain goats. All species introduced over time, either on purpose or by accident, and they're all open for hunting to help control the population. So just out the left front, some golf ball-shaped buildings sticking up out of the trees. That's the Makaha Ridge Tracking Station. It's operated by the U.S. Navy. They do radar tracking for some of the training they hold offshore. very shortly. The Nepali coast. So Nepali means many cliffs. It's 17 miles of continuous coastline, accessible only via aircraft, boats, or you can hike the first 11 miles. I'll start on the left side first, but I'll bring it around to the right side shortly. About our left-hand side, there's such a sandy beach out there. That's the Kalalau Beach. That is the end of the 11-mile Kalalau Trail. So this valley here is called Honopu, but in 1978, Hollywood remade the King Kong movie. This here was known as Skull Island. So again, this stretch of sandy beach out the right side is the Kalalau Beach. Now the Kalalau Trail, it ranks 7 out of 10 in the level of difficulty. They say it takes those guys about 10.5 hours just to hike out to this beach. So this large valley ahead of us here is called the Kalalau Valley. It is the largest valley found here along the Nepali. It is also the last to be inhabited by the ancient Hawaiians. So I read that as late as 1898, nearly 5,000 native Hawaiians, well, they still call this valley home. So growing up, I was always told that the Nepali was formed by a massive landslide that basically broke off a chunk of the island, sending it off into the ocean. But 2 summers ago, my son was home on vacation from college, and we're out here doing a hike, and we came across 2 geologists that were here on a grant to study just how the Nepali was formed. Apparently there's no empirical evidence that would support that much landmass sliding off into the ocean. But one of the things that they did tell me they do know, well, the Nepali is currently eroding at about the same rate that your toenails grow in a year. That's just under 2 inches.
Have you ever seen any whales when you're going over the ocean?
Oh yeah, all the time. They're usually out here from about end of October to early April, and when they first give birth to their little calves, they stay very close to the surface until they're big enough to hold their breath and go underwater, so we see them quite often, yep. So I'm going to start on the left side first. I'll bring it around to the right side shortly. But you follow the coastline all the way until it ends, and then you look about 3/4 of the way up. That first sharp, pointy little peak you come across, that's called Mount Makana. But in 1957, Hollywood filmed a movie here called South Pacific. Well, with special effects, they cut that pointy little peak off, put that out in the middle of the ocean. They called that the mystical island of Bali High. And again on the right side, all the way at the very end, the sharp, pointy little peak you see, Mount Makana, or Bali High. And if anybody's wondering if that word, Bali High, has any meaning in the Hawaiian language, I will tell you that it does not. In fact, the Hawaiian alphabet, it doesn't even have the letter B in it. Alright guys, I know I was making a lot of twists and turns here along the Nepali, but I wanted to try and give everyone a great opportunity to see this beautiful coastline from out both sides. So for the next couple of minutes though, I'm going to try and keep the aircraft as straight and level as I can, giving our stomachs just a little chance to settle down. So just out the right side there. That little sandy beach tucked into the corner there. That's Ke'e Beach. That's where the road ends here on our North Shore. That's also the start to the 11-mile trail to the Kalalau Beach. But back in ancient times, that there was home to the very first hula school in all of the Hawaiian Islands. Now, normally on a beautiful day like today, that beach would be pretty crowded with people. But just over a month ago now, we had some record-breaking rainstorms hit the island, causing a bunch of flooding, damages to homes. Well, it also took out the road that leads to this side of the island here. Now, originally they anticipated 2 or 3 months before they'd have it open to the general public. But I just read an article in today's newspaper that I guess the engineers further evaluated it, and they say now that unfortunately it'll take 4 to 6 more months before they open that road up to everybody. And there's that large reef just sticking out to our right here. That's the reef known as tunnels. So there's a little town just on the right side. That's the town of Hawaiian. So back in the 1960s, Elizabeth Taylor's brother Howard had some property there. Tried to develop on it, but the state wouldn't grant him his permits. So he turned it into a hippie commune, and they called it the Taylor Camp. So that song that just started playing in the background, that's the theme song to that movie South Pacific, filmed right here on the island. So there's a stretch of sandy beach just off the right front here. We'll be passing right over the middle of it, but this is called Lumahai Beach. But in that South Pacific movie, this beach was known as Nurses Beach. This is where Mitzi Gaynor washed that man right out of her hair. And as we begin to make our way inland and look down on either side, you see those patties down there. So those are taro patches back in ancient times when there was no refrigeration in order to preserve the meat and fish, so they would salt it. Now, of course, when it came time to eating, it was quite salty. So they'll take that taro root they mashed into a paste. We call this poi. Now, if any of you have been to one of our Hawaiian luau's, you had the opportunity to taste that bland-tasting paste. However, I'm told it's not too bad. Take some of that salted meat or fish, or dip it into your poi, and you eat it together. So off in the distance, off the left-hand side, that's the town of Princeville. Closer in here, we have the town of Hanalei. And you also have the famous Hanalei Bay in the pier. Now, Hanalei means lei-shaped. the right side. I'll put this out the left side here shortly, but in the center of that mountain back there is a 2,300-foot waterfall called Vai Ole, which means the chanting waters. So the queen was once back here, and she heard what sounded to be like chanting. So she decided to investigate the sound. She found out it was coming from this waterfall here, hence the name, the Chanting Waters. Down below is the Hanalei River Valley. Along the riverbed there, you'll see some silverish green colored treetops. Well, that's the state tree of Hawaii known as the kukui nut. Ancient Hawaiians, though, they call this tree the candlenut tree. That's because they used to take the nuts, they'd light them on fire. It'd give them their candlelight for about 20 to 25 minutes. One of the questions that I frequently get asked, and if you guys have spent any time at all here on the island, well, I guarantee you've already asked this question, but that is, why are there so many doggone chickens on Kauai? Well, in some cultures, even though it's illegal, chicken fighting is very popular, so they raise those fighting chickens in their yards. Well, we also used to have an egg-laying farm here on the island that provided the residents with fresh eggs, but in 1992, Hurricane Inike, there's a Category 5 hurricane that swept through the island, damaging or destroying many of those chicken coops. Well, they got loose. They have no natural predator here. They breed like rabbits. Now we have a new island bird called the Kauai chicken. Just up our right front, that large mountain covered in clouds there, that's Mount Waialeale. At over 5,100 feet, it's the second tallest mountain peak here on the island. It's also one of the world's wettest spots. There's a rain gauge up there, and some years it registers over 440 inches of rain. So just to put that in perspective, that's over 36 feet of rain per year. There's also a little pond up there, and when the ancient Hawaiians used to go up there to worship, they noticed that when the winds blew, it caused the water to ripple on this pond. Hence the name Waialeale. It means the rippling water. millions of years ago was a massive volcanic eruption, and it blew out the east-facing wall of the crater here, giving us an opportunity to take a peek into the caldera, or the cone of an extinct volcano. So now this is my favorite spot on the island. So if you look out on either side and scattered through the island, you see those trees with the large flat canopies. So those are called albizia. Many here on the island are going to tell you that they came from South Africa. But through a little research, I found out that this variety actually came from Indonesia. They're thought of in the early 1900s before some of the islands, because they're a rapid growing tree. They can grow up to 20 feet in their first year, 120 feet in their lifetime. But with this rapid growth, they're very weak. So during some of the stronger windstorms, they fall over, causing damages and blocking of the roads. They're also highly invasive. As look around the island, they're taking over. So there's millions of dollars being allocated to the state to stop the spread of this tree. Now here on Hawaii, what they're doing is they're taking that wood, they're turning it into wood chips. There's a state-of-the-art biomass electric generation plant on the island that supposedly has an eco-friendly way of burning those wood chips, generating some renewable energy for the island. So cattle ranching has become a very profitable replacement for sugar. I'm told that the restaurants on the mainland, they really prize the Kauai beef because it's all grass-fed and free range. So when the sugar industry went out of business, they sold their land in little chunks, and as people bought up this land, many started farming on their own. Now those that grow produce, many of them will sell the produce at the local farmers market, and you can pretty much find one somewhere here on the island almost any given day of the week. But another agricultural commodity that's kind of replaced sugarcane, grown mostly on the west side of the island, is corn. Because of Hawaii's climate, they can grow 3 full seasons of corn per year. But none of the corn grown here on this island is actually used for human consumption. It's all been gene modified in some way, but I've been told some of what they do with the corn, they can make a biodegradable plastic out of it. Well, guys, we have been given a clearance to land, so I want to take this opportunity to say mahalo nui loa. Well, thank you very much on behalf of myself, Paka, and the rest of the ground crew there at Safari Helicopters. Despite that bumpiness, I sure hope you guys had as much fun as I did exploring the island today. I hope the remainder of your stay here on Kauai is a pleasant one. We'll be on the ground shortly. Once we do get on the ground and everybody's off, don't run away. There's going to be another chance for some photos if you want. Just hang out on the grass-led helicopter. But same thing here. Please don't take off those life preservers. This is for safety reasons. We're not allowed to set anything on the ground out here.
What a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. See friends shaking and singing, how do you do? They really say, I love you. I hear babies cry and I watch them go. They'll learn much more than we'll know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Someday I wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind. Feel where trouble melts like a lemon drop, high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. The dream that you dare to, why, oh why can't I?
Alright guys, here's my last flight for the day, so I'm going to shut it down. So once again, if you want to unbuckle your seatbelt at this time, you can. I'd leave the headphones on for just a little bit longer, so let the engine cool down. Be quieter that way for you.